had mentioned in my Hi Puffy Amiyumi video that I have been in the mood to rewatch Teen Titans. Oh boy, did I not remember a lot of the major moments from the show like I thought I did, but one moment that I never forgot is how the show ended and how I found it to be rather sad. Not sad as in disappointing, but sad as in it being kind of a downer, especially since, you know, this is where the show decided to leave us at. Well, at least where Warner Bros. Decided to leave us at, as a 6th season of the show was wanted and fans were pleaded with to show their support for such. I mean, this was one of Cartoon Network's most acclaimed series. Why would they just cut the series short with how much support the show had with fans and critics? Especially if it was going to be brought back anyway as... well, this. Yeah, that's a pretty drastic change. I'm not here to tell you how you should feel or shouldn't feel about that show specifically, but maybe one day we'll talk about Teen Titans Go. But today, let's take a look at how Teen Titans, the original series, ended, as well as also how it kind of didn't, thanks to the Trouble in Tokyo movie, a Teen Titan comic book series and a crossover movie with Teen Titans Go. It's a lot, and it's all pretty interesting, and I genuinely find it fascinating. So I hope you enjoy the content. If so, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Hey man, you can't be asking me to do that before I even watch the video. Sounds like a whole lot of shut up, dude. To understand the significance of this all, we must know who Terra is. This is her. Now, clearly, with this video talking all about the ending of the show, I will be discussing spoilers about the series in general, just as a fair warning. Okay, back to Terra. Terra is probably the most unique character in Teen Titans, whether that's coming from a personality perspective or a storyline perspective, at least in my opinion. I'm not you. If you disagree, that's great. But this is my video here, bucko, so hold up. Terra can easily be summed up as a conflicted person with powers. She has played both the hero and the villain, which makes her character and her relationships with the other characters more complicated. Flipping between who her character is and what she believes in, with a massive moment in the show where Slade persuaded her to the dark side. Okay, this isn't Star Wars, more like the poorly lit but bright enough to see what's going on side. It just doesn't have the same ring, does it? Regardless, she was promised teachings of being able to better control her powers, something shown that she had been struggling with. However, this would require her full devotion and loyalty to Slade as his apprentice. Also, before we go forward, put this character in the back of your mind. This is Geoforce, Terra's brother, who ever since Terra ran away to protect others she didn't mean to hurt because of the lack of control of her powers, has been looking for her ever since. We will circle back to this later in the video.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that helps you secure your digital life, in turn helping your real life by putting your worries at ease. Surfshark offers one of the best full coverage VPN packages out there with an unlimited number of devices that can all run under one subscription, all at the same time. Seriously, as many devices as you want. The Surfshark app itself is available on all platforms, PC, Mac, and of course the Linux users out there, you're covered as well, even smart TVs and video game consoles, all along with 24/7 live customer support and a full 30-day money-back guarantee to make sure you know it's completely risk-free by giving them a shot, as well as one of the best security measures with their strictly no-logs policy, which encrypts your data, meaning that they do not keep any of it, nor does anyone know what you're doing online. Want to watch something that isn't streaming in your country? No worries, just connect to any of the servers Surfshark has around the world and boom, you can access streaming libraries of even more content that otherwise would not be available in your country. It's fast and it's easy to use, filled with features that go beyond just the basics with a regular VPN. If you want to protect yourself online while browsing, as well as help support the channel, you can get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deal/JordanFringe and enter promo code JordanFringe for 83% off and an extra 3 months for free. So click the link down below in the description and get protected today. Terra is no pushover. Her first appearance in season 2 of the show sees her fighting a giant scorpion as the Teen Titans arrive to lend some help, but she squashes the beast with her Earth powers, thus leading to Terra getting invited to the glass tea of a house, and Beast Boy specifically showing more of an interest in her than everyone else. They all seem to take a general liking to her and even consider that maybe she'd be a great addition to the Titans. Robin, though, doesn't want to jump the gun just willy-nilly and offer up a position on the team, so he decides to test her abilities after a night night of rest. Speaking of resting, Terra wasn't. She was simply listening in on the conversation being had and isn't too ecstatic about it. Beast Boy later in the night went to check on Terra only to find her missing and eventually finds her outside skipping rocks on the water. This is where he's able to metaphorically break down her rock walls and get to know her. He ultimately convinces her to stay and give it a shot to be a part of the team. Terra unintentionally moves a rock that Beast Boy was sitting on, and she confesses to him about not being fully in control when it comes to the abilities she has, and how it can and has hurt those she considers close. Beast Boy, however, just brushes it off as no big deal, but Terra doesn't want the others knowing that, so Beast Boy promises to keep it a secret just between them, bonding Beast Boy closely to Terra. This relationship is important. These moments aren't just to recap and look back, but to set up the overall impact of the ending. We know two main things. First, that Beast Boy is showing care and interest for Terra, and second, Terra can't really control her powers, putting others unintentionally in harm's way. Throughout her time on the show, this would be the driving force that would cause the major divisions between the Titans and Terra. Slade, the most interesting and important antagonist in the show, from the jump gets inside Terra's head and starts giving false perspectives that don't exist. During the abilities test after speaking with Beast Boy the night before, he cheers her on and then, surprising herself, proves to the Titans that she can handle herself and her abilities with ease. But Slade makes himself known to the Titans that he has returned. Probably from Prague or something, I don't know his life, I'm not his assistant. Terra gets invited to track Slade down with the team and have a face-off with some robot minions. Everything is good until her powers go haywire and a rock she was controlling lands partially on Beast Boy. The rest of the Titans check to see if he's okay as she flees in fear that she hurt another person that she had cared about. But she also notices a figure running by, and in thinking it's Slade, chases the figure down to confront him, which is exactly what happens, but surprise, surprise, Slade was baiting her in doing so, just so he can privately speak to her. She instantly starts trying to fight him, with him being able to easily avoid all of it. He's had an eye on her and that he knows how to help her hone and control her powers better. This thought gets planted in her mind right then and there. But as of now, she still holds that kindness and support of the Titans at a higher weight and refuses the offer. He warns her that they will abandon her like the others have done to her in the past. This causes her emotions to take control of her powers and causes rocks and earth chunks to swirl around, causing a bunch of damage everywhere. Slade disappears, and Beast Boy, who is shown to be okay from the rock incident earlier, finds Terra and is able to break through to her as she breaks down and cries in his arms, with another plea to keep all of this secret as well. Later that night, as she is getting ready to leave, she gets another offer from the Titans to stay and become a Titan, all with the promise of her learning to control her powers. But her not being able to control them was a secret, right? Beast Boy promised not to say anything, right? Well, of course this upsets her and she feels betrayed, as she runs off with Beast Boy in hot pursuit, shouting he didn't say anything. Well, because he didn't, Robin just figured it out. But he can't find her. All he finds is her hair clip. The weight of what feels like broken trust layers itself over the rest of the series, evolving these characters even deeper. Here, with Beast Boy now skipping rocks where Terra once was. You don't need anything to be said to feel the impact, to understand these emotions, to relate to these characters that aren't perfect and can feel broken.
You know you're not allowed on the sofa.
Terra does make her return later on in the episode Titan Rising, where she now feels more confident in accepting the original offer from the Titans to join and train. Everyone seems pretty happy to see her, all but Raven, but no one is 100% on the re-offering the spot on the team with what just happened earlier. Of course, she wanted to explain herself and her disappearance, as it was something that she needed to do to find herself, and shows them all how in control of her powers she actually is now. The trust between the Titans and Terra is still, no pun intended, a bit rocky. But when a new emergency calls for their attention, she is invited along on the mission. Raven doesn't think everything adds up and can sense that something with Terra seems off and keeps an eye on her. And this causes some tension throughout their mission this episode, with conflicting thoughts on how to properly fight or solve obstacles in the way. But with Slade's plan to sink and destroy the Teen Titans tower, Raven and Terra must work together as Terra learns about trust and what it means to work together, training to control her powers and through through this, Terra and Raven save the tower from its doom. Terra is also given her own room at the tower and is made an official member of the Teen Titans. But good things like this sometimes sadly never last forever. Betrayal. Terra has been with the Titans for a little bit now, working alongside them, honing her powers and feeling a sense at home with the team. Later on, Terra is being a little bit suspicious. Among Us. Shut up! She's alone one night and sends out a secret email, only to be startled by Beast Boy, who comes to check in on her and hands her a heart-shaped box that he lovingly made as a way to ask her out on a date. Terra, being flustered, says she can't do that and leaves the conversation. I got this icebox where my heart used to be. It's alright, Beast Boy. I'm sure you'll get over it one day. Oh wait, she's back. Things are looking up for the shapeshifter. They leave the tower and head out for a fun night together. Food, amusement park shenanigans, maybe even some tunnel of love. No? Okay, Ferris wheels are a solid second choice. But it's what happens on this date and why this date is happening that are truly more interesting. Because of this date, at one point, Beast Boy drops his communicator. Now there is no way for Robin and the team to reach out for him. And surprise, surprise, back at GT, that's short for Glass Tower for those hip. No, it doesn't stand for Game Trailers. If you remember the Game Trailers website, then you're just like me. Old. Oh, where was I? Yeah, back at the GT, a bunch of Slade minions have now somehow broken into the tower, and Robin has been trying to reach out and find where he is as they all need help. Maybe this isn't a date and it's really a distraction. I guess you can call me Gibby since I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Later on the Ferris wheel, as they are more intimately talking, there is a chance that maybe some make-out point action is going to happen, but we all know the title of this episode, right? It's called Betrayal, right? Everything is going so well for Beast Boy so fast. Terra, though, mentions to Beast Boy about still being her friend even if he learns and knows something bad about her. Of course, he agrees, but before they can take their relationship to the next step, Slade makes himself known from the shadowed area in the same cart that they are in. I don't know how you didn't even see him. A fight between these two break out as Terra just watches, grabs some popcorn. Let's get right into the news. As Slade takes the lead in the fight, Terra's feelings for Beast Boy cause her to break the ground beneath the Ferris wheel, giving them a chance to escape Slade and dip into the House of Mirrors. But you know, Slade doesn't play around. He pulls up and lays some big bombshells on Beast Boy. One, Terra has been a spy since the moment she's returned to the show, and two, oh yeah, he doesn't have his communicator anymore. Remember he dropped that a while. He dropped it. Just doesn't have. No one could reach him. He hadn't have his. Terra is still conflicted over her feelings and the choices she is making. Beast Boy questions their friendship to see if any of it was true, as she reminds him of the promise he had just made about still being her friend no matter what dark secret she was hiding. Beast Boy, emotional in his own way, recants his sentiments, exclaiming to her that she doesn't have any friends. This broken promise crushes Terra heavier than the weight of any boulder she could throw, effectively pushing her completely to Slade's side as the rest of the Titans hear about what happened and prepare for future fights to include taking Terra down alongside Slade. This episode was powerful and puts the story building the show tends to do so well at such a high importance to set up the downfall of a conflicted character. The portrayal of what was a real bond between two characters and the overall way that not just this specific storyline would end, but the series as a whole. After the earthquake comes the aftershocks, part 1 and 2 actually. This would be the next time that we would see Terra make an appearance for the end of season 2. Looking fresh in a new fit, may I add? Slade, feeling a little unsure about where her loyalty lies, questions her and makes sure that she has her mind right and offers her the chance to take down the Titans once and for all. She shows up to the Titans acting like Boo from Dragon Ball Z, not even fazed by them as her suit is assisted by Slade himself, allowing for an easy upper hand as the Titans choose to retreat, as we get a dramatic stare-off between Beast Boy and Terra before he disappears. Later on, before the end of part 1, more fighting between Terra and the Titans happens. She wipes the floor with all of them as Robin tries to get through to her and help loosen the influence Slade has on her. Yeah, that doesn't really work out too well and she just crushes him with a rock. Robin's dead, Batman just finds a new boy to call Robin, and the day wasn't saved by the Powerpuff Girls. Slade is pretty happy about it all though. This is his Infinity War win, he is the main character here now. Alright, well now it's time for part 2, where Terra claims to be sturdy in her decision so far, but is clearly still shaken up about everything that has and is happening. She's no different than just another criminal now, coming to terms with that and the fact that she has taken down the Teen Titans. But she doesn't dwell on that too long because the show is called The Teen Titans and not The Terra Squad. Wait, that's a great name. Hey, Cartoon Network, I have this great idea. I see. Okay, thank you so much. Well, it turns out I just called a Pizza Hut in Indiana. I don't even live in Indiana. But like I was saying, Terra gets her sad reflection time interrupted by the Titans coming back and ready to continue the fight. The Titans, however, are no longer holding back, and Terra senses how she just needs to get out of here. But Slade doesn't vibe with that at all and assumes control of her and her powers, forcing her to fight them. But they still are able to keep the upper hand on her, so Slade just sends out different villains instead, and Terra is able to flee. When she returns to Slade, he attacks her for her cowardice she had just displayed, and now Terra understands that Slade never once cared about her, but just the potential of her powers, and preyed on her emotions to manipulate her away from the only bit of people similar to her who actually did care. And beyond that, cared for her as the person that she is, not for what she can do. But we all know my boy Beast Boy is a tier 3 sub and tracks down where Terra went, only to be met with Slade controlling Terra to fight him, trapping him under a large piece of rock as Beast Boy cheers her on that she has time to fix things and stop what she's doing, turn things back around and back against Slade. This caring, these words resonate with Terra heavily, finally giving her the strength she needed to find within herself to break out of Slade's grip on her, metaphorically and physically. But when she tries to attack Slade, a blast opens to a volcano that was lying hidden underground, which sees Slade fall into his Terminator 2 mode. Yeah, he's dead. But the bigger problem rears its ugly head with the lava threatening to take over and consume the city completely. But rather than run away, Terra sees an opportunity to right some wrongs. Beast Boy shouts at her that it's too late and they need to go, but Terra responds back with it's never too late. She says a final goodbye to Beast Boy and uses the full force of her powers to stop the volcano. The result of this, though, leaves Terra casted in stone, representing a statue of her heroic efforts in finding herself, overcoming the control of her powers and saving those she cared about. The Titans place a plaque in front of the now encapsulated Terra reading, "Terra, a Teen Titan, a true friend," honoring her struggles and triumphs for not just the city stopping the volcano, but for the Titans themselves. Oh, well, that's not the sad, dark ending I was actually talking about for this video. That was all just the understanding of Terra, her relationship she built with the Titans, and more specifically Beast Boy. Slade, while technically defeated, does come back a couple seasons later, but we must fast forward now to season 5, aka the final season of Teen Titans. Things change. The last episode of the Teen Titans, Beast Boy accidentally stumbles upon a schoolgirl who oddly looks exactly like Terra during a fight against this creature. This, of course, quickly flusters him as he heads to the Han Solo version of her from the end of season 2, only to find out that, oh no, our statue, it's broken. Beast Boy is now pretty dang sure that the girl he saw today is Terra. The evidence leads him to believe so. It's plausible since Slade was resurrected. If Terra actually did die, maybe something happened to her as well to make her come back. The rest of the Titans can't think of how it was possible. None of them were powerful enough to do it. Was it related to how Slade came back? Is it something completely different? These are the questions to answers that maybe Sway has.
You ain't got the answers, Sway!
Never mind, he definitely doesn't have the answers. Beast Boy confronts who he believes has to be Terra and explains everything about what happened, showing her her room that she stayed in at the tower, how she was turned into stone, and talking about the silver heart-shaped box that he had made for her, even bringing her to where they skipped rocks. This starts bringing back some painful, unexplained memories, causing her to swiftly leave the tower. She does, however, wish him luck in finding who he thinks he is looking for, and that they may still be out there somewhere. Beast Boy isn't happy with how she isn't remembering, trying to pull out of her original self, even going as far as to throw some mud on her to get her to use her powers again, but it doesn't work. She doesn't block the mud, it gets all over her face face and now she just storms off. Beast Boy heads to the mirror maze to come up with any clues leading to how Terra forgot everything, but he is quickly interrupted by Slade, who tells them that he had nothing to do with Terra, no involvement in who she is after coming back. This is what she chooses to be. Beast Boy gets emotional and attacks all of the mirrors, breaking them as he tries to attack Slade. He doesn't want him to hurt her anymore, but unfazed, Slade tells him that the only one who's hurting her is him and he needs to let her go. Beast Boy's powers go beyond what we usually see from him thanks to his emotions, and he destroys Slade, or another one of his robot versions of himself at least, as he utters one final thing before shutting down. She doesn't want to see you anymore. Beast Boy reaches out to the schoolgirl one last time, and she at first brushes him off to make it to her class on time, but in an attempt to try and break through to them about their past and to come back to be with the Titans, after waiting around all day, trying everything he can between classes, she evades every situation every single time. That is until he finally convinces her in the library to go out in the hall and speak with her, where he finally blurts out all of his confusion and begs her just to understand and explain to him. But she says what he is saying was never true and her name isn't Terra. Beast Boy's final effort is offering her his Titan's communicator. She declines and tells Beast Boy that things change. She is no longer the girl that he once knew. Robin, who along with the rest of the Titans is dealing with the same creature from before, calls out to Beast Boy for some help in the fight. His tone becomes more defeated, begging one last time to come with him. But she tells him that he is the Teen Titan and that she isn't into fighting crime and saving the world. The bell rings and she now has to head to class. Oh, look, a Vote for Pedro poster. Is Napoleon here? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to break up all the tension. Even though this next part is hard, from all the intimate moments they shared, the bond they had, in order to let her live the best life that she could, free from danger and any of the complications that came before, even at the expense of his heart, he understands that he must let her go, but hold on to those thoughts of her as a reminder of the good within her, and find peace in knowing her path in life she now walks is for the best for her. She now slowly fades into the background as Beast Boy is left there, alone, to watch until the moment she fully disappears. Ah, there's Napoleon. Sorry, I broke the tension again. He stands there for a moment, coping with reality before picking himself back up and telling Robin that he's on his way to help the fight. He runs down the hallway for our final shot of the episode, with himself coming to terms with the decisions Terra or not Terra has made. And that's the end. Now, fans including myself have been holding out hope for a 6th season to see where any of these storylines may pick back up in general. We even thought after the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie that the post-credit scene alluded to the original Teen Titans coming back in some shape or form. Well, they did, but in the sequel to the Teen Titans Go movie, Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, which, while it was awesome to see the original looks of the characters back, it was in service of propping up the Go series more, of course. Terra, however, makes a small cameo, kind of, during the musical number. Beast Boy reflects on her heroic, tragic, quote-unquote sacrifice again. Remember, she's maybe, sorta, not really, but maybe, but also maybe not dead. At least the Terra we know before is dead. This is just some schoolgirl worrying about geometry or something. But does all of this close the chapter? Not really. There is a bit more to the story to understand left before we can fully get the whole picture.
Nice work, Boy Blunder. Look, next time, I decide what we're doing.
After season 5 came to an end with things changed, Teen Titans was given a movie, Trouble in Tokyo, which would also technically serve as the series end to the original Teen Titans show. While the movie itself is a fine movie, it just doesn't have that final impact that the show did. Honestly, it feels like you could have slotted Trouble in Tokyo at any point in the series as a special or a multi-part episode, and it just fits, rather than gives you an ending that makes you never forget, like how Things Change did. I mean, the movie, like I said, is fine. fine. They all save the day in Tokyo, and sure, it ends on a happy note for all the Titans, still set to go on their way and be the crime fighters that they are. It just doesn't hit me like the show proper did. It's really more focused on the relationship of Robin and Starfire, which again, still fine. It just doesn't hit those emotional notes like Terra's story did. But hey, maybe that's just me at the end of the day. To top off the impact of Terra and her involvement in the show in relationship to Beast Boy, there is one last connective tissue adding more to it all. In Teen Titans Go. No, not the show. The comic series that was based off the original show and would follow same or similar related story beats, and in some cases follow proper continuity when it needed to. Terra is all over this thing, albeit in small bits, but we do see her mentioned and appearing quite a bit. But in issue number 51, Terra makes her final appearance as it is set after the finale of the show with the same events we saw in Things Change. Remember I told you at the start of this video to remember the name Geoforce, Terra's brother? Do you even pay attention? It's okay, I don't pay attention to a lot of things too. You should see how distracted I got when trying to write this video. Anywho, Geoforce makes an appearance at the Titans Tower and speaks about Terra's real origins. So this whole time, Terra was running away from also being the Princess of Markovia. Both her and her brother were used as experiments by royalty with sinister interests, giving them both Earth-related powers. Coming full circle now, Terra running away from this all as she also couldn't properly control her powers and hurting the ones she actually cared about. We end the story as Beast Boy and Geoforce contemplate checking in on Terra at the school Beast Boy found her attending, but after seeing her to be the happiest she has ever been, they both decide to not intervene and let her live her life. A solid way to loop everything back around, find out more about who Terra was, and to support her from a distance going forward. So now she can have the chance to write her own story, rather than finding someone else's to just be a part of. Just remember, it's never too late. Things change. Teen Titans for me is a masterclass in storytelling, emotional impact, and character development. This was only one example of how the show was able to juggle all of this in what on the surface is a crime-fighting superhero show. But it intrigues me the most because of how the show ends. The payoff, or should I say not payoff, of an ending that is pretty unexpected. It speaks volumes on how to write these characters, the relationships they have, and to properly articulate and show internal conflict. It's a delicate balancing act to do in a show like this that is primarily aimed at younger audiences, that is meant to be about superheroes, and of course is meant to sell you on the merch side of things. But why you can't forget a show like this, and most likely why you're so attached to it as you may be, is the care that went into the show. It didn't treat you at any age like you are being talked down to for you to understand. It spoke with emotion in the dialogue and within the somber moments between. Just look at this moment again where Beast Boy stares at Terra before disappearing into the smoke. The heartbreak, betrayal, sadness, moral compass, compassion, all of this can be felt all without a single word being said. You get to know these characters and understand them as the show opens them up to you, rather than just being told who they are and what they stand for. That's where true understanding comes from. Show, don't tell.
Over.
The reason we ran down all of Terra's story for the most part is to see how the story leads to such a powerful end that is so different from what you would expect. To see how Terra affects the whole show overall and was only a small part of it in the grand scheme of things. It emphasizes her impact on the Titans and the whole show in general. The weight of her sacrifice is felt and never forgotten. The way we find her in the end representing that peace she was seeking from the problems she couldn't fix inside herself at the time. But how do you feel about it all? How do you see Terra in the show and how the show ends in general? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. It was a fun one to really dive into. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. I'll be back with another video soon, but until then, later.